Jai Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidangscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Jai Swapadika Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Giraju Ki Jai Jai Srila Gurudev Om Vishnupad Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission morning class. Dandavat. So the first verse. Unto all the Vaishnavas and unto the 6 Goswamis, including Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and their associates, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as well as all of his devotees, headed by Srivas Thakur. I then offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, Lord Krishna, and Srimati Radharani, and all the gopis, headed by Lalita and Vishaka. Jaya Jaya Gaur Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purushottame Aka Udiya Brahmana Kumar Petri Shunya Mahasundara Midhu Vyavahar. In Jagannath Puri there was a young boy who had been born of an Arisan Brahmin, but later lost his father. The boy's features were very beautiful and his behavior was extremely gentle. Prabhu Stane Nitya Aishe Kare Namaskar Prabhu Shane Bat Kahe Prabhu Pranatar Prabhu Te Tahara Priti Prabhu Doya Kare Damodara Tara Priti Sahite Napare. The boy came daily to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and offered him respectful obeisances. He was free to talk with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because the Lord was his life and soul. But the boy's intimacy with the Lord and the Lord's mercy towards him were intolerable for Damodar Pandit. Bada Bada Nisheda Kare Brahmana Kumare Prabhurena Dekile Se Rahite Napare. Damodar Pandit again and again forbade the son of the Brahmin to visit the Lord, but the boy could not bear staying home and not seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nitya Aise Prabhu Tare Kare Mahaprita Jaha Prita Taha Aise Balakera Rita. The boy came every day to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who treated him with great affection. It is the nature of any boy to go see a man who loves him. Taha deki damodara dukha payamane balite napare balaka nisheda namane. This was intolerable for Damodar Pandit. He became greatly unhappy, but there was nothing he could say, for the boy would ignore his restrictions. Aradina se balaka prabhustane aila, gosanitare pritikari varta puchila. One day when the boy came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord was very affectionately inquired from him about all kinds of news. Katakshani se balaka utti jabegela, sahite na pare damodara, kahite lagila. After some time, when the boy stood up and left, the intolerant Damodar Pandit began to speak. Anyo padeshe pandita kahe gosanyiratani, gosani eba jani mu gosai. Damodar Pandit impudently said to the Lord, everyone says that you are a great teacher because of your instructions to others, but now we shall find out what kind of teacher you are. Purport: Damodar Pandit was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes, whether a person in such a position becomes impudent, being influenced by the external energy and material considerations. Thus, a devotee mistakenly dares to criticize the activities of the spiritual master or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Despite the logic that Caesar's wife must be above suspicion, a devotee should not be disturbed by the activities of his spiritual master and should not try to criticize him. A devotee should be fixed in the conclusion that the spiritual master cannot be subject to criticism and should never be considered equal to a common man. Even if there appears to be some discrepancy according to an imperfect devotee's estimation, the devotee should be fixed in the conviction that even if his spiritual master goes to a liquor shop, he is not a drunkard. Rather, he must have some purpose in going there. It is said in a Bengali poem, Jajapi Nityananda Sura Badijai, Tatapiyo Hai Nityananda Rai. Even if I see that Nityananda has entered a liquor shop, I shall not be diverted from my conclusion that Nityananda Rai is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ebe gosanira juna jasa shabaloke gaibe, tabo gosanira pratishta purushotame haibe. So sometimes the devotees, like Srila Sanatana Goswami even gave advice to Mahaprabhu, but this is not a criticism. This is just offering advice in the mood of extreme love. Sometimes Mahaprabhu would accept advice, and sometimes he would reject advice. But here is an example of actually criticizing the Lord, saying, you don't know what you're doing something wrong. So this is a different matter. You are known as Gosai, or teacher, or acharya, but now talk about your attributes and reputation will spread throughout the city of Purushottam. How your position will be impaired. So he's saying, you're known as a great teacher, but now your behavior is going to impair your own divine influence. Shuni Prabhu kahe kya? Kaha Damodar? Damodar kahe tumi svatantra Ishwar? Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that Damodar was a pure and simple devotee, upon hearing this impudent talk, the Lord said, my dear Damodar, what nonsense are you speaking? Damodar Pandit replied, you are the independent personality of Godhead, beyond all criticism. So again, this is another example of the great devotees of the Lord, showing something that will give us an opportunity to learn about correct behavior. Swachande acharakara ke pare balite, mukara jagatera mukha para achadite. My dear Lord, you can act as you please. No one can say anything to restrict you. Nevertheless, the entire world is impudent. People can say anything. How can you stop them? Pandita hanyamane kene vichara nakara, randi brahmanira balake priti kene kara. My dear Lord, you are a learned teacher. Why then do you consider that this boy is the son of a widowed Brahmani? Why are you so affectionate to him? Jajapi Brahmani se tapasvini shati, tatapi tahara dosha shundari juvati. Although the boy's mother is completely austere and chaste, she has one natural fault, and that is she is a beautiful young girl. Tumiha parama juva parama sundara, lokera kanaka ni bate deha avasara. And you, my dear Lord, are a handsome, attractive young man. Therefore, certainly people will whisper about you. Why should you give them such an opportunity? Purport, as a simple and staunch devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Damodar Pandit could not tolerate criticism of the Lord. But unfortunately, he himself was criticizing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his own way. The Lord could understand that it was because of Damodar's simplicity that he impudently dared to criticize him. Nevertheless, such behavior by a devotee is not very good. He had the Lord's interest in mind, but he went about that in a very wrong way. Atabali damodara mauna haila, antare shantosha prabhu hashi vicharila. Having said this, Damodar Pandit became silent. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled, pleased within himself, and considered the impudence of Damodar Pandit. Ihare kahiye shuddha premera taranga, Damodara shamamora nahi antaranga. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, this impudence is also a sign of pure love for me. I have no other intimate friend like Damodar Pandit.
What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying is about Damodar criticizing him?
Yeah, well, he's not actually criticizing him. He is criticizing him, but not in a mood of envy, but in a mood of real, honest, simple love for the Lord. He doesn't want the Lord to be criticized by the population by letting the son of a beautiful widow come and visit him all the time. The social structure at that time was so strict that that would bring criticism to him, even though he's not at all associating with that girl himself. But the boy was such a great devotee. So anyway, Damodar, it is a very subtle kind of thing, because Damodar Pandit was completely simple-hearted. He's just straightly speaking. He's not thinking about how to say this or anything like that. He's just speaking his heart. He couldn't tolerate the prospect that Mahaprabhu would be criticized by the public. It's a very fine point in our relationship with Gurudev and with the Lord. We have to realize there's a point of overstepping, but in the heart level, Mahaprabhu was very pleased with Damodar Pandit. So we just have to take it, and we will understand everything in time as we go on, reading these things more and more. these finer points will come. And maybe this is not confusing to anyone, but I'm thinking it's confusing, so I'm probably over-explaining everything. Huh?
Yes, it is confusing.
Okay. Eteka vichare prabhu majjane chalila aradine damodare nibrite bolaila. Thinking this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to perform his noon duties. The next day he called Damodar Pandit to a solitary place. Prabhu kahe Damodara chalaha nandiya matara samipe tumi rahataha jaha. The Lord said, my dear friend Damodar, you had better go to Nadia and stay with my mother. Toma bina tahara rakshaka nahi dekiyana amake hayate tumi kaila savadana. I see no one but you to protect her, for you are so careful that you can caution even me. You'll be a very good protector of my mother, because you're so fastidious in your seva that you're even giving me lessons. Tomasama nirapeksha nahi moragane, nirapeksha nahi le dharma nayaya rakshane. You're the most neutral among my devotees, and this is very good, for without being neutral, one cannot protect religious principles. Amahaite jenahaya, setomahite haya, amare karila danda anake bahaya. You can do whatever I cannot. Indeed, you can chastise even me, what to speak of others. Say, you'll be good protector from my mother. You'll chastise anyone who's going to cause her any harm or disturbance. You can even chastise me. You're a great chastiser. You should go there and take care of my mother. Matara grihe raha jai matara charane tomara age nahi be karo swachanda charane. It is best for you to go to the shelter of my mother's lotus feet, for no one will be able to behave independently in front of you. Maje maje ashiba kabu amara darashane shigrakari puna taha karaha gamani. Say, nobody will be able to act just like any way they want in front of you. Even I can't. You're even chastising me. So this is a good job for you. You go chastise people. At intervals, you may come to see me here, and then soon again go there. Matare kahi mora koti namaskare, mora shuka katakahi, shuka di hatare. Offer my mother millions of my obeisances. Please speak to her about my happiness here, and thus give her happiness. So tell her I'm offering millions of obeisances to her, and tell her about how happy I am here, and then she will get relief in her heart, and she will feel happy. Nirantara nija kata tomare shunaite, e lagi prabhu mora pataila inhate. Tell her I sent you to inform her of my personal activities so that she may share my happiness. Atakahi matara mane shantosha janmaiha, araguhya katatares smarana karaiha. Speaking in this way satisfied the mind of Mother Shachi. Also remind her of one most confidential incident with this message from me. And this is an example of the Lord always being in the house of Shachi Mata. Bare bare ashi ami tomara bhavane, Mishtana Bhyanjana Shabakariye Bojane I come to your home again and again. Tell her this, he's saying, quote, excuse me. I come to your home again and again to eat all the sweetmeats and vegetables that you offer. You say this to her. Bojana kariyayami tumitaha jana, bahya virahetaha swapna karimana. You know that I come and eat the offerings, but because of external separation, you consider this a dream. Purport. Because Mother Shachi was feeling separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she thought she was dreaming that her son had come to her. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, wanted to inform her that actually it was not a dream. So he's saying, because externally they're not in the same place. I must have dreamt something. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, wanted to inform her that actually it was not a dream. He actually came there and ate whatever his mother offered him. Such are the dealings of advanced devotees with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yang shama sundaram achincha guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. You want me to read that again? I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotees whose eyes are anointed with the ointment means some kind of medicine, whose eyes are anointed with the ointment of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyamasundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. Pure devotees realize dealings with the Lord on the transcendental plane, but because the devotees are still in the material world, they think that these are dreams. However, the Lord talks with the advanced devotee, and the advanced devotee also sees him. All of this is factual. It is not a dream. Text 32. E maga sankrantye tu mirandana karila nana bhyanjana kshira pita payasarandila. During the last Magh Sankranti festival, you cooked varieties of vegetables, condensed milk, cakes, and sweet rice for me. Krishna Bhoga Laganya Jabe Kaila Dhyana Amara Spurti Haila Ashru Barila Nayana. You offered the food to Lord Krishna, and while you were in meditation, I suddenly appeared, and your eyes filled with tears. Aste Vyaste Amigiya Shakali Kaila Amikai Deki Tomara Shuka Upajila. I went there in great haste and ate everything. When you saw me eating, you felt great happiness. Shanike Ashumuchya Shunya Deki Pata Swapna Deki Lunjena Nimai Kailabata. In a moment, after you had wiped your eyes, you saw that the plate you had offered me was empty. Then you thought, I dreamt as if Nimai were eating everything. Pahya viraha dasaya puna branti haila bogana lagailu egyana haila. In the condition of external separation, you were again under illusion, thinking that you had not offered the food to Lord Vishnu. So internally, she could see definitely Mahaprabhu was there and eating everything, and her heart is so happy. But then her external logical, I mean, that's not, in the case of Shakti, of course, she's never an illusion. But in one sense, you could say, divine illusion. Pakapate de kila shaba ana achi bari puna boga lagaila stanas samskar. Excuse me, I'm very sorry. Puna boga lagaila stana samskarakari. Then you went to see the cooking pots and found that every pot was filled with food. Therefore, you again offered the food after cleansing the place for the offering. He's thinking, oh, I didn't offer it yet. Hey mata bara bara kariye bojana, tomara shuddha premi mora kare akarshana. Thus I again and again ate everything you offered me, for I am attracted by your pure love. So all these are messages for Shachi Devi. Tomara agyate amiachi nila chale, nikate lanya jao ama tomara prema bale. Only by your order am I living in Nilachala, Jagannath Puri. Nevertheless, you still pull me near you because of your great love for me. E mata bara bara karaya smarana mora namalanya tara vandiha charana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Damodar Pandit, remind Mother Shachi in this way again and again and worship her lotus feet in my name. Etakahi Jagannatera prasada anaila mata ke Vaishnave dite pritaka pritaka dila. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did what? He ordered that varieties of prasadam that were offered to Lord Jagannath be brought there. The Lord then gave Damodar, Damodar Pandit, the prasadam separately packed to offer to various Vaishnavas and his mother when he went to Bengal. Tabe Damodara chalinadi aila matare miliya tara charane rahila. In this way, Damodar Pandit went to Nadia Navadvip. After meeting Mother Shachi, he stayed under the care of her lotus feet. Acharjari Vaishnaveri Mahaprasada Dila Prabhura Jaiche Agya Pandita Tara Acharila. He delivered all the prasadam to such great Vaishnavas as Advaita Acharya. So he went to Bengal and gave all this prasadam sent by Mahaprabhu to all these different great Vaishnavas there, sending gifts. Thus he stayed there and behaved according to the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right then. So we'll finish here and then tomorrow continue with this pastime. Jai. Mahaprabhu is so mercifully giving us so many fine instructions in his divine pastimes. By the grace also of those great devotees who are completely surrendered to him. All many lessons are coming from those who were actually inimical, and others from those who were great devotees, and showing something. Many great lessons are there for future practitioners. Haribol. So now today is Sunday, so we're reading Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai, Srila Om Vishnupade Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Is this coming into the kitchen okay? So today we're continuing on the first volume of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and now we are on the text one of chapter 4, Bhakta, the devotee. So now Narada Muni has been speaking extensively to Lord Shiva, and being advised by Lord Shiva, he is now going to meet with Prahlad Maharaj.
Is Prahlad Maharaj the same as the pastime of Nrsimha?
Yeah. Yes. Jai Srila Sanatana Goswami Ki Jai. Shri Parikshit Vacha Shrutva Mahascharyam Ivesha Bhashitam Prahlada Sandarshana Jata Kautuka Hridyanata Shri Sutale Gato Chirad Davan Pravishta Puramasuram Muni. Shri Parikshit said, after the sage Narada heard Lord Shiva's words, which impressed him as most amazing, he was eager to see Prahlad in person. He at once therefore traveled to Sri Sutala by the path of the heart. This is how Narada is traveling. By the path of the heart. And entered, running, into the city of the demons. Sutala. Sutala is one of the down planetary systems. So Prahlad, even though, very exalted Vaishnava, in the mood of neutrality, he in the Shantaras, but he was a descendant of Hiranyakashipu, who is all in the line of the demons. They're all the demon family line. So anyway, we'll hear more about this later. Commentary. In this chapter, despite Lord Shiva's warning, Narada glorifies Prahlad. After refuting Narada's glorification, Prahlad in turn glorifies Hanuman. Narada then visits Hanuman, who denies Narada's praise and recommends instead the Pandavas. So everyone is saying, no, this person is a devotee. The path of the heart Narada traveled is the mind itself. In other words, as soon as he desired, I want to go to Sutala, he at once arrived. So the speed of the mind is instantaneous. But his mind is pure. His mind, Guru Maharaj said, the mind of a great devotee and the heart are the same thing. The mind is purified as crystal. Crystal, beautiful, divine. And as soon as the mind the mind wants to be somewhere, it's there. The speed is instantaneous. There's no space considered.
Can I ask a question that is a little bit off topic?
A little bit of what?
Off topic.
Okay, we just have, okay, yep.
The devotees of the Lord in Vrindavan, do they have a mind? Is their soul covered by something called mind?
No, there's no covering at all.
No, it's just pure soul.
You can say there's the divine mind, but that is another type of thing altogether. There's no covering.
The soul is not covered by any layer of matter?
Never. Just what I was just quoting Guru Maharaj, the mind and the pure heart, the pure mind and the pure heart of the great Vaishnava are not different from each other. Their pure heart of pure devotion and the mind are not different. They're not different from each other. Well, with us, our heart is like sound asleep. Well, in my case, sound asleep. And the mind is the whole show. Big banging and nonsense. Tavad vivikte bhagavat padambuja premola sadhyana vishakta chesta Shri Vaishnava Griena Samiksha Durata Protaya Vipra Pranato Nitikam Gata. Prahlad, the best of the Vaishnavas, was in a secluded place, absorbed in meditation, on loving meditation, on the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Seeing the Brahman, Narada approaching from a distance, Prahlad quickly stood up and then offered prostrate obeisances as Narada came close. Narada is actually the guru of Prahlad. Commentary. Without receiving information from his external senses, Prahlad, through deep meditation, became aware that Narada was approaching. Prahlad's meditation was exceptionally wonderful because he was meditating on the personality of Godhead's lotus feet, not on some impersonal conception of the Supreme. His concentration was so fixed that when he became aware that Narada was approaching, he could not respond at once. By the time Prahlad stood up, Narada was already nearby.
What does it mean to meditate on the Lord's lotus feet? To think about his pastimes, his scriptures, or that's something inconceivable?
Of course, it's inconceivable to us that that level of pure, loving absorption in love of the Lord, and that type of meditation, we can't conceive of it. We are trying to meditate, which means smaranam. We're trying to remember. We're trying to remember many, many things, but we don't have that full divine connection, living connection. Pite prayatnad upaveshito yang pujang puravad vidinar pyamanam sambranta cheta parihritya varsan Harashram ashlesha parovadadtam. With some effort, Prahlad induced Narada to accept a seat, and then again, like others before, to worship him in accordance with standard rules. With some effort, Prahlad induced Narada to accept a seat, and then began, like others before, to worship him in accordance with the standard way of worshiping a great personality. But Narada, feeling great reverence for Prahlad, refused the worship. He shed tears of joy and tried to embrace Prahlad. Then he spoke as follows. Commentary. Because Narada was reluctant to accept the seat Prahlad offered, Prahlad had to force him to take it. Prahlad brought water to wash Narada's feet and brought arghya. Arghya is many beautiful kinds of scents and so many things that are used in worship, and all other paraphernalia for full worship. But Narada stopped him, being interested only in embracing Prahlad. He didn't want that formality. I mean, this was not fake formality. It's genuine, but it was too formal. Narada wanted to simply embrace Prahlad. Shri Narada uvacha jishtas jira Krishna kripa bharasya patrang bhavan me sa palashramo bud abalyato yasya hi Krishna bhaktir jata vishuddhana kutopi asit. Shri Narada said, now, after so long, I have finally seen you, the true recipient of Krishna's full mercy. Now my efforts have borne fruit. From your very childhood, you have been endowed with pure devotion for Krishna. So he wasn't a practitioner of devotional service. He was he's in that eternal position Such spontaneous love has never been seen anywhere before, Narada is saying. Commentary. Narada had diligently studied the revealed scriptures to learn about the Lord's most intimate devotees, and recently had taken the trouble to visit Prayag, the southern country, and Shivaloka. Now he felt so satisfied meeting Prahlad that his efforts seemed all worthwhile. Yaya svapitra vibita sahasram upadrava daruna vignarupa jitas tvaya yasya tavanubhavat sarve bhavan bhagavata hidaitya. By virtue of that pure devotion, you overcame terrible obstacles, the thousands of outrages your fathers committed against you. And by your influence, all the demons became Vaishnavas. Did you hear that?
Please read it again.
By virtue of that pure devotion, Narada is saying this to Prahlad, you overcame terrible obstacles.
Like the one of those rings.
From Hiranyakashipu, the thousands of outrages your father committed against you. And by your influence, all the demons became Vaishnavas. Commentary. Prahlad's father Hiranyakashipu, Jai Sapakari Gaurachandraju, Jai Giraju Ki Jai. Prahlad's father Hiranyakashipu was the greatest antagonist of Lord Vishnu and his devotees. Prahlad insisted on joining the party of Hiranyakashipu's enemies, and therefore Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him. Means he was a worshipper of Vishnu. So they're all enemies. Anyone who's the devotee of Vishnu is the enemy of Hiranyakashipu. But because the Lord fully protected Prahlad, his demon father failed to kill him in spite of many attempts. This is related in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Quote, my dear King Yudhisthira, when all the attempts of the demons to kill Prahlad Maharaj proved futile, the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, being most fearful, began contriving other means to kill him. Hiranyakashipu could not kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of big elephants. Okay, this is the different kind, some of the different things that the Lord protected Prahlad from in all these different situations. Hiranyakashipu could not kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of big elephants, throwing him among huge, fearful snakes. He threw him into a pit of snakes.
How old was Prahlad Maharaj?
5. The worst place in the whole kingdom was this pit of snakes. A pit full of dangerous snakes. Threw him in there. He couldn't kill him by employing destructive spells, mantras, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusions, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to severe cold, winds, fire, and water, or throwing heavy stones to crush him.
Makes sense why the Lord was so angry.
Yeah. And Prahlad's meditation on the Lord never wavered, not for a single moment. So this is something we always are trying to remember and really see, and worship that. By worshiping those great devotees, we can become very much blessed just by remembering them. He never was disturbed, actually. He was fully absorbed in the Lord's lotus feet. And Prabhupada said something about this. He said, when Prahlad saw something pleasant coming, he would say, oh, here is Krishna. And when he saw some great danger coming, he saw, oh, here is Krishna. It was all the same to him. So this is so great. Lesser Vaishnavas would not be able to endure such as staunchly as Prahlad the severe kinds of distress imposed by Hiranyakashipu. In the face of such torments, anyone not as fully surrendered and absorbed in remembrance of the personality of Godhead would lose the courage and determination to continue serving the Lord. Even little disturbances can cause that for us. We become distracted. But none of these tests distracted Prahlad from his devotional service. Being solidly fixed in bhakti yoga, Prahlad was empowered to preach effectively. The sons of the demon, enemies of Vishnu, became Vaishnavas by hearing Prahlad's instructions and even just by touching or seeing him. He became a great preacher, and anyone who heard him or even touched him or even saw him became a Vaishnava. Therefore, in the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, which is part of the Narada Purana, the goddess of earth, Dharini Devi, thus glorifies Prahlad's special potency. Dharini Devi, goddess of the earth, meaning Bhumi Devi is another one of her names. Ah, this human world is now especially fortunate, since you, the best of Vaishnavas, are present. Everyone who touches you or sees you, and the symptoms of your ecstatic emotions, will become entitled to take up the residence of Hari Loka. Text 6. Krishna Vishto yo smritat meva matto nriyan gayan kampamano rudangscha lokan sarvan udaran sangshritibhyo vishnur bhaktim harshayam ashatanvan. While immersed in meditation on Krishna, you seem to forget your own existence. Like a madman, you danced and sang and called out loudly, your body trembling. Trembling is one of the symptoms of divine love in the case of those great souls. In this way, you spread devotional service unto Lord Vishnu, delivering all the worlds from the cycle of material life and filling them with joy. His influence was spread all around. Commentary: when a pure devotee is inspired by remembering Krishna, he sometimes behaves in such unusual ways that the ordinary people may think him either intoxicated or insane. The word matta in this verse can be understood in either of these two senses. But behaving outside socially accepted norms does not in itself make one a saint. So it's not like just by acting crazy you're automatically a saint. But there are those who do that. They're called the Prakriti Sahajiyas. They go, rolling around and crying and going crazy. It's like,
And they're saints.
yeah, they're the opposite of saints. Prahlad Maharaj was not simply acting in strange ways. He was able to, have you? Can you hear?
He was able, Prahlad.
Very good. Prahlad Maharaj was not simply acting in strange ways. He was able to free anyone who saw him from the sufferings of material life. So Prabhupada, this is not, the purport is not by Srila Prabhupada, but Sanatana Goswami is saying, just, when you see somebody acting like that and trying to look like a great Vaishnava, you can see those people sometimes in India. It doesn't mean, the person that they're imitating can free the whole world. For anyone who simply sees him will become freed from material life. So they're not able to do that. Very cute. The logician Bhasharvagya in his Nashshara enumerates 21 sources of material misery. Would you like to hear those?
Yes.
The body, the six senses, the object of each of the senses, judgment based on the six kinds of sensation, and pleasure and pain themselves. Describing Prahlad's influence on persons who witness his ecstatic symptom, Sri Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya states, upon hearing his brilliant words, some people felt an extraordinary sense of detachment from material life and began to shed tears. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurachandra Jagiraju Ki Jai. Others who saw him responded by bowing down to him, and others were amazed to see him playfully laugh and simply stood in groups watching him. All these persons were relieved of worldly contamination. Prahlad delivered ordinary people not only by freeing them from unhappiness, but also by giving them the highest happiness of pure devotional service to Vishnu. Excuse me. He's not just giving them liberation from the world, but he's also endowing them with love. Krishnana virbhuyatire mahabde svankhe tvitva lalito matravadya brahmeshadim kurvatopi stavogam padmang chanadricha samanitoya. When Lord Krishna appeared on the shore of the ocean, he placed you on his lap and caressed you like a mother. Thus he honored you, ignoring Brahma, Shiva, and the other demigods offering prayers, and even ignoring the goddess of fortune. So there were many trying to pacify Lord Nrsingadev. After Lord Nrsingadev tore apart Hiranyakashipu, pulled out his intestines and garlanded himself with them, he was still angry. And no one could pacify him. No one could pacify him. The Lord's personal servants, headed by his wife, Lakshmi Devi, by Garuda and by Brahma and other demigods, were standing at a distance, awestrucken, too afraid to come near him. Brahma then requested Prahlad to try to appease the Lord. And the Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya describes the Lord's reaction. Quote, the Lord, who is friendly only to his devotees, then sat down on the ground and put Prahlad on his lap, gently rocking back and forth. He patted Prahlad with his lotus hand and embraced him repeatedly as a mother embraces her child. Thus the Supreme Lord attended to Prahlad, disregarding the many other exalted persons present. So much affection. He put Prahlad on his lap and just rocked him back. Because Prahlad was a little, like an infant, a little boy. And the Lord himself was rocking him. And purring.
What is purring?
Like a cat goes.
Oh, Prahlad was purring?
No,
Nrsingadev. Wow. Really? Ganga Lila Devi made a question, and I'm not sure. I don't think it's about what we're reading.
Uh-huh.
So,
okay.
Do you want me to read it after you finish your reading?
Well, okay, yeah, because the class time is almost over.
It says, Didi, when you greet the deities, you are a Jew. What is that?
You what?
Like, you are a Jew. What is that?
A Jew?
She's, Didi, when you greet the deities, you are a Jew. What is that? Like a G in Swami G?
Oh, I add Jew. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jew, yeah. This is something of added, like honor or I don't want to say honor.
Affection.
Yeah, it can be affection according to the person who's saying it, but it is. I don't know the literal meaning of Jew. G-I-U. You will see it many, many times, but it's giving. They're indicating their exalted position. Thanks for that question, Dini. Oh, I'd love to keep reading. Maybe, but really we have much to do today. So we'll continue next week. This Brahmasanghi, this Brihad Bhagavatamrita goes so fast. And we want to keep reading and reading. But this is a very big part. And Narada is so much praising Prahlad. And in this world, people praise each other. And as you were saying, nindadi. Nindadi means criticizing and adi. So praising persons, mundane persons, it is always some nonsense, actually. Just to praise some mundane thing that we enjoy with our senses, or that, for their mundane behavior. This is actually a cause of fall down. But the praise of Narada for Prahlad is very deep, full of truth, full of divine, uplifting, purifying words, and completely from his pure heart. So that kind of praise we will always like to hear. Any other questions or from you or from anywhere?
Antya Lila said, I never picked that up from anyone else. Thank you.
Oh, Jai. Yes, it comes. Oh, yeah. I think it's because we repeat it so many times. Haribol. Jai Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki Jai. Jai Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad ki Jai. Haribol. Jai Shri Rukanuga Guru Varga.
Jai. Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shrimado Sudana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Radhara Shiva Sari Gauravata Vrinda. Jaya Rupa Sanata Bhatara Gunata. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasara Gunata. Jai Gosai Gauri Charana Vandana. Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koila Vasa Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Lila Prakasa Anante Guru Hari Bhaja Vrindavana Guru Vaishnava Parinadaitamana Guru Vaishnava Parapanaduriyasa Harinam Sankirtana Koke Narottammadasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasari Gaura Bhagavatamrita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitaya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitaya Gaura Hari Bol Nitaya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitaya Gaura Hari Bol Jai.
Jai Vishnu Paramahansa Bali Vajakacharya Astaterza Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Bhakti Sundar Govinda Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Vishnu Paramahansa Bali Vajakacharya Astaterza Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Shri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Namachai Shri Laharidas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sargoswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki
Jai.
Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam
Jai.
Sankirtan Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Again. And Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata Ki Jai.
Jai.
All the worldwide centers Ki Jai.
Jai.
Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki Jai.
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanand.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Srimati Shri Lekha Didi Ki Jai.
Ki Jai. Hari Bol.
Ganga Lila Didi says Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
So we have Ganga Lila Didi with us, Kumkum Devi,
Jai,
Bhima Krishna
Ganga.
Prabhu with us.
Jai.
Who else? Selina Rai. And that will be it. I mean YouTube. We don't know who's in YouTube. But
anyway, my obeisance is to everyone. I'm so happy that you are giving us your association.
Jai.
Finally this morning.
Dandavat.